Hello everyone, I'm Rosie Gibson. I'm based in the School of Psychology at Massey University in the Health and Ageing Research Team, and I'm also Vice President of New Zealand Association of Gerontology. And today I want to share with you some of our students and early career researchers' reflections who attended the most recent Australian Association of Gerontology conference in Adelaide, which was the first one we've been able to have face-to-face since 2019. So you can see here's our Kiwi crowd, our whānau, who made it over to Adelaide. There's about 550 delegates there, so we had a really nice group of people representing New Zealand, and within that group a few of us who were students or early career researchers. So Rubina, Bogati and I went around and talked to some of those students during the conference to get their feedback on what they've been presenting, what they'd found useful from the conference, and just overall what a great experience they'd had. So first up, we've got a conversation I had here with Sharnika, who's a doctoral student at Massey University here at the Manawatu, and this was Sharnika's first face-to-face AAG, and so this is us at morning tea after a few days at the conference. We're here at morning tea on the last day of AAG, and we've got Sharnika with us. So say hello, Sharnika.
Hello.
So Sharnika, tell us where you've come from.
I've come from all the way from Palmerston North, Massey University.
Awesome. So we're showcasing some New Zealand students and early career researchers. So can you tell us, have you done a presentation at the conference?
Yes, I did. I was a symposium presenter.
Awesome.
Yesterday for maximising workforce participation. That was our session.
Awesome. And what were you talking about?
I was presenting my third paper of my PhD project. Implications of work-family conflict among older adults who combine work and caregiving. Awesome,
really important topic. And so, so people can look that up on the abstracts, I'm sure. But how have you found the conference? Have you? Is this your first time at AAG?
This is my first AAG in person, so
yes.
I'm really excited. I presented online in 2020, so it's been really nice to see people. Have conversations, listen, ask questions during the sessions and after the session. So that's been really useful.
And have you got a top session that you've seen yourself? So some other people's work that you didn't already know?
Heaps of dementia work.
Yeah.
I thought the work that's done by Nari as well as Hart on dementia was quite eye-opening. And also the workshop for publishing.
Yes.
And collaboration was very useful.
Yes, so those were the pre-conference workshops, so you found those really useful?
Very, very useful.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of led into my last question, like as a student, you know, what's the conference been, you know, has the conference been useful for you? Or
I think this pre-workshop really helps us to orient ourselves, get to know some of the members who were there, and allow us to then build on some relationships that we can then go and nurture throughout the conference. So it's been really great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for speaking with me, Sharnika.
Thank you, Dr.
See you
Rosie.
back in New Zealand.
See you back there.
You're a natural.
Awesome. That was me chatting with Sharnika. And our next interview was with Annie Tainui. And Rubina caught up with Annie also at a morning tea session at AAG. Now, Annie is a master's student. She's working with me, but as a distant student down in Canterbury. So it was really a great opportunity, I think, for Annie to come along and meet some other students and scientists in the area of gerontology. So let's have a listen to Rubina's conversation with Annie. There you go.
Yeah. Morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Annie. Annie?
Yep.
Yeah.
Annette, but go by Annette. Yes.
Yeah. Annette Tainui?
Yes.
Have I said your name correctly?
That's right.
Yeah. She's with us today, and
Yes.
you're going to tell us a bit about yourself, aren't you? And then give us a bit more details about what you enjoyed in
Yes.
the AAG.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I am here. Gave my presentation on Wednesday. So just some of the findings from my master's thesis, which I am doing on the experiences of older Cantabrians throughout multiple crises in their the effect on their resilience and ability to age well in place. So that went really well, thankfully. It can be coming here and listening to all of the seasoned presenters, but also very inspiring at the same time.
Yeah. Did you feel well supported?
Oh, incredibly, and lots of friendly faces, lots of very on point questions. It's been a tremendous experience from that perspective.
And great topic as well.
Yeah,
it's
thank you.
So important.
Yes.
Yeah. And anything particular that has happened at the AAG that you think has been relevant for your development or that you've enjoyed?
Quite a few unexpected ones. Right at the beginning, at the President's Welcome, they really encouraged us to attend some more diverse presentations. So I'd gone through with the program initially and looked, for what was aligned with my work, but I took a slightly different viewpoint from that point and went to a lot of things on a really broad variety of subjects that I might not have otherwise, and have been really sort of inspired about that. And I think it brings such a richness of depth and more holistic viewpoint going forward that I think is going to be really useful for my work as well.
Absolutely. And any of the have you managed to build some did you get opportunities to collaborate or build networks at the time?
Absolutely. So interestingly, one of the sort of off the cuff ones that I went to was this lady who was presenting on how long left. So that was from the perspective of when older adults go into a hospice. They often get asked that question, and what is the research saying about that? And that actually turned out to be the hospice that my mum attended 3 years ago. And so I was able to link in with the presenter who is a palliative nurse there and talk about quite a few exciting ideas for frameworks around grieving and end of life type stuff as well. So I think I've got her number and we'll be keeping in touch.
Brilliant. What a great example of connecting in these events. Brilliant.
Great.
Thank you very much.
No worries at all. Thank you.
Cheers.
Kia ora, that was Rubina chatting with Annie. And our next conversation is one I had with Agnes Zabo, who's a senior lecturer at Victoria University. And I was really excited to chat to Agi because, we did our PhDs around the same time, sort of 7 or 8 years ago. And have since, Agi's now at Victoria University. She's been very successful with Rutherford Fellow and a Marsden FASTAT and so on. So we've all kind of been away in this kind of hole with the pandemic. So it's really exciting to see Agi back presenting her research on older migrants and hearing her reflections of that transition kind of from student to postdoc to, really early to mid-career research. So let's have a listen about Agi's experiences.
So I'm here with Aggie at the last day of the AAG. Do you just introduce yourself and tell us a bit about what you've been up to at this conference?
Hi everyone, my name is Agi Sabor. I am a senior lecturer in the School of Health at the Heranga Waka, Victoria University of Wellington, and I study the ageing experiences of our migrant communities in Aotearoa, New Zealand. It's my first time at the AAG.
Awesome.
And it's been, really lovely to reconnect with people from our New Zealand community, but also to hear a little bit more about what's happening across the ditch and all the amazing work in this space.
Yeah, and it's good. I wanted to talk to you today, especially because although this is a podcast for students and early career researchers, obviously it's been a while since I've had a face-to-face conference, and in that time you've collected some amazing emerging researcher kind of grants with the FASTAT and Rutherford. And how are you finding it kind of on the other side of that, sort of coming through postdoc work and now in a more mid-career stage? How's the conference been sort of for this stage for you?
It's been really amazing to be able to come and finally talk about all that work that I've done in the last couple of years. I did a lot of data collection and progressing my research, but not a lot of dissemination, obviously partly because of COVID, but also because I was collecting data. So it's been just really exciting to be able to be here and share my findings. Also just to come an Australian conference where I know that a lot of the issues and challenges that we have in New Zealand also resonate with researchers and practitioners in Australia. So it's been really great.
Yeah, and what would you say, I guess, for future students and early career researchers, have there been some good opportunities here, do you think, for them for future conferences? Would you recommend it for students for the first conference?
Absolutely. I think it's so important to, first of all, experience what it's like to come to a conference and present your findings, but also it's such an amazing opportunity to connect and network, and especially at the early stages of our careers, it's all about finding connections, building relationships with collaborators. So I think it's incredibly valuable at this stage. And I also recommend being broad, like go to different types of conferences, and I think AAG is great because it's reasonably broad. It's in the area of aging, but people present in a lot of topics similar to NZAG. So I highly recommend it. I think it's a good first conference to come to.
Cool. Thanks for your time, Aggie. I'll let you get back to lunch.
Kia ora. Yeah, that was awesome catching up with Aggie at the conference at the lunchtime there. So the next conversation I had was with Hannah Phillips. She's a research officer at Massey University, and she presented some of her independent work, literature review, as a poster at the conference. So let's hear some of Hannah's reflections, kind of just a week or two after that wonderful trip to Adelaide.
I'm here with Hannah, just off the back of AAG conference. Hello, Hannah.
Hello.
How's it going? Tell us a little bit about who you are and what your position is in New Zealand ageing research.
Okay, so I'm a junior research officer with the Health and Ageing research team. I've been here since 2018. I'm also responsible for looking after the data sets and putting together all of the data that comes in for our surveys that we send out every 2 years. I am also responsible for disseminating that data to external researchers and coordinating data sets for students and things
Awesome.
like that.
Yeah, very important role. And so you recently went to AAG for the first time, I think, as an early career researcher. And so did you present something while you were there?
I took a poster over.
Awesome.
It was a summary of a literature review that I had a part in writing with ACC, and it was all about falls and risk factors involved and the preventative measures that we can take to reduce falls in people aged 55 and over.
Cool. How did you find the old poster formatting and presentation and stuff? Can be quite tricky, to squeeze everything in.
Yeah, a bit of fun trying to get everything to fit. It was a very wordy literature review, so condensing it down and putting pictures in was a challenge.
Quite a challenge. And did you find it was well received?
I think so. I saw a few people
can read and ask questions with their cups of tea. Yeah, that's awesome. And how did you find the conference as a whole? Like, is there any highlights or, what did you enjoy about being in Adelaide?
The conference was really interesting. It seemed as though it brought together a lot of people from different backgrounds and different careers with different perspectives, and it was really interesting to hear all of the different research things that are going on, but also other organisations that aren't necessarily just researchers and the talks that they have.
Yeah, it wasn't just academics, And I think it was great to have you there as, there wasn't many New Zealanders there or students and early career people. So did you find it quite a supportive environment as a more early career researcher, do you think?
Yeah, it was great. I had some interesting conversations with people and everyone seemed relatively approachable.
Not too scary.
Not too scary.
So do you think you'd go back? I mean, we were just talking before offline about maybe going to Japan. There's always really cool things. Now you've been to one conference, has that sort of tickled your fancy to...
Yeah, I'd love to.
Be involved. And I think that's generally what we've heard from people on the podcast, that it is a great experience for our student and early career researchers. So awesome. Was there any other things, any key sessions? It's been a little while since we got back now, but obviously we enjoyed seeing Nari as our keynote representing New Zealand. But,
absolutely.
And our colleagues at Heart also representing some stuff. So we had a lot of supporting each other, I suppose, while we were there.
Yeah, it was a good group that went over presenting a lot of really important research.
Yeah, cool. All right, thanks for your time, Hannah.
Okay, awesome. That was really fun catching up with Hannah after the conference. So next, the tables are turned. This is a conversation that Rubina had with me about my experiences at AAG. Because again, I'm sort of 7 or 8 years postdoc, and there's been a real big gap in attending these kind of face-to-face conferences. So yeah, it was fun to reflect. I had a couple of posters and presentations there. So yeah, let's take a listen.
Welcome, Rosie. Lovely to see you at AAG,
Awesome.
and it's been brilliant connecting with you more in here. Do you mind telling us a bit about yourself and what you've been doing at AAG?
Yeah, so I'm Rosie Gibson and I'm on the NZAG committee, and I've been here presenting. I presented an oral presentation on, what was it? Sleep and interradiator, sleep and caregiver distress, and also had a couple of posters. One of which is my master's students' work on continence and sleep, and another from a health worker, an HRC project around sleep in the New Zealand Health Survey data. So yeah, it's been quite busy.
Brilliant. Yeah, and have you how have you found the conference in general?
I found it really nice. Like many people have said, it's just really nice to be back in person and catching up with friends and colleagues and seeing the research kind of live. Rather than just on a screen, and yeah, catching up with everyone. And it's really nice for me coming back to Adelaide, because I've not been here for a long time, and it's where I came to one of my first conferences as a master's student, so it's really cool being back here. Now I'm sort of further down the track.
Brilliant. Yeah. And in terms of your role in AAG, has this opportunity being in conference helped support build network through that, or
yeah, I mean, it's quite exciting. So taking over Deborah's role in NZAG, so had a bit of an official moment there, but it's been really nice to catch up with people like Deborah and Nari and yourself, even though we're all from New Zealand, we don't get this dedicated time, so to connect. And with Ness, of course, is here from NZAG, so it's been really cool. And what I've really enjoyed is that we've had quite a strong New Zealand presence here. There's sort of 500 or 600 delegates, and there's maybe just 30 or so people from New Zealand, but we're pretty strong, and we've been really well represented across different types of sessions, like you say, oral and posters, and even plenaries with Nari. So yeah, it's been really fun. Yeah.
And the very first openings welcome. In the very first opening welcome, you were congratulated.
I know, it's scary. So now I have to do some stuff.
Just shows how much responsibility is coming. But it just shows what tremendous opportunity lies
ahead.
before.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
So congratulations.
Thanks, Rubina. Oh, we'll finish up.
Right, thank you very much.
Cheers.
That was a conversation with Rubina and myself during the conference at AAG last year. And so finally, again, tables are turned. This is me having a chat with our co-presenter, Rubina Bogati, who's a doctoral student at the University of Auckland. It was great to meet Rubina in person. She's on our early career NZAG committee. So it's great to lead these conversations with Rubina, and here she is with her lovely supervisor, Ness Berholtz, who's seen in a few of our slides, our photos here. So let's have a listen to Rubina's reflections.
Okay, so hello Rubina, it's nice to see you in real life, not on Zoom, even though we're both from New Zealand. How are you enjoying AAG?
Loving it. Just has been very thought-provoking, and the varieties of presentation, and goodness, the amount of research people have presented through pre-recorded live poster. It has just been
a lot.
mind-blowing. Yeah.
And can you tell us a bit about what your PhD topic is?
Sure.
Did you come here with your supervisor?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Yes, and my PhD topic is looking at. I'm hoping to look at the experience of older Asian people in the workforce beyond the age of 65, and do a mixed methodology study to see what are the factors associated with the decision to work in later life, as well as the cultural aspect of the cross-cultural differences of what keeps them working in later life. Yeah.
So you're quite early on in your thesis?
Very early.
So you're not presenting this time?
No, I'm not.
Just come along. So what have you enjoyed about the sessions that you've been to? Have there been some key points?
very fortunately, and this time round in AAG, there has been two brilliant session. There has been almost around 8 or 9 presentations completely about workforce
Yeah.
and on older people, which
Yeah.
has been highlight for me.
Cool.
So relevant to my work
Yeah.
as a PhD student in that area. And also the rest of the time there has been a lot of work presented by academics as well as industry partners on CALD, culturally and linguistically diverse individuals.
Oh,
which has
awesome.
been
So that's been
brilliant.
really interesting. And as a
Yes.
student, have you found it, like you say, you've done it online. How's this experience been different coming to Adelaide?
Oh my god, so much better in person. Beautiful food.
You went a nice meal out?
Yeah, great venue, great venue, and just the making connections was so much more natural
Yeah.
in person, and thoroughly enjoyed. I just connected with somebody because every single time we go to make our English breakfast tea, we are always at that stand together. So
Yeah.
I just managed to make build some network
Yeah.
just by being in there.
In the tea line.
In the tea
Yeah,
line,
nice.
yes.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time, Rubina. I'll see you back on the NZAG Zooms. Yeah,
Right.
awesome.
Thank you very much, Rosie.
Okay.
Okay, kia ora, that was awesome. That was reflections from early career researchers and students at the most recent AAG conference in Adelaide. And here's the beautiful Yarra River, where we enjoyed spending our time at the Adelaide Convention Centre. So thanks to the AAG for hosting such a great event. Thanks also to New Zealand Association of Gerontology for supporting students and encouraging them to present at these kind of forums. I think this is a great time to note that we do have an emerging researchers subcommittee within NZAG, and it's a really supportive environment for mentorship, as well as being able to have opportunities to contribute to webinars and parts of the newsletter, and to really be the next kind of generation of researchers in this area. And thinking ahead, we've got our own conference coming up. The NZAG conference will be 6th to the 8th of September at the University of Auckland. Abstract submissions open 10th of March. So get writing, share the news, and we look forward to seeing you there. Ka kite.